Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, tea sippers from all ages, sports, and denominations. It is it's your boy, OG Big Sam. It's hump day, tea time. Good afternoon to all the sports tea sippers. How's everybody doing? How's everything going? Well. We have a litany of things to discuss, get around on, and chop it up about. We'll be having a quarterback goat conversation over a particular franchise. Um, we're going to I'm gonna introduce them to a little something a little new, a little different. I got sports tea dummy of the week award I'm gonna be handing out. Um, there's gonna be a STFU segment as well. Somebody need to shut the entire fuck up. Yeah. Probably have a few things. I'm gonna be riding solo today. The franchise is not gonna be with us today. Um, but we're going to enjoy dialogue, debate, talk about, chop it up. You know what I'm saying, and all of these things here. And let's see here. Where are we gonna go? What are we gonna do? Where are we gonna start? Here, let's see. Oh, shout out to Angel Reese, getting drafted by Chicago Sky. Oh, and the center for South Carolina as well. They're going to be a problem over there. Just to throw a little something like that. Just we talk a little bit of everything. Um, let's see. Um, we will start um, with. I'm going to start with. I'm gonna go on and hand out this award. I mean, because it is it's some dumb. It's just rather dumb. Rashid Rice is sports tea dummy of the week at 118 miles an hour. Yeah, and his team, his publicist team, his management team is doing him no favors. Um, you 118 miles an hour in a 40 in a 65 mile an hour zone. On a car that you lease, you wreck out, you hit three people, and you walk down the highway, and like nobody's gonna recognize you. I mean, you're talking about taking a flying leap to end your career just as fast as it got started. You win, you get a Super Bowl ring in which you were a pretty big part of. And right now, if everything goes to crap, this is what you're gonna be known for. This stupid crap right here. I'm just saying, man. I mean, we're gonna. I think there'll be some mandates are gonna be needed to be handed out to, some of these kids under a certain particular age are not handling their money on their own. I mean, you go run out and you lease a vehicle that has over 200 miles an hour on the dash, and you on a Segway and doing 118 miles an hour, and then you walk and leave it in the middle of the road after you done hit two, three, four. Okay, but maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's just me. I'm just stupid is stupid does, man. That's just some of the dumbest things, you know, that I just come across, you know. Um, just saying good morning good afternoon to everyone. Mucho Grande in the pole position. Um, Smooth 78 was good. 330, what's happening, man? Good to see you. Anthony White, interesting take. Um, about whatever was good. Maurice Martin, hi, how you doing, sir? Hey, Sonya. Mr. Knight, how's it going? You know what I'm saying? Everything is everything. About whatever says 376 is a 85 mile an hour here in Pittsburgh. I be doing at least 100 on every time. I'll be right. Only, but these children, these kids, these that have millions of dollars at their disposal and be out here, doing this kind of stuff, man. It's just crazy. Billy Bill Gates was not the choice for a good reason. Well, yeah, I haven't gotten into the Bill Belichick article. I'm hearing about it, seeing things here or there. Um, I mean, but I'll probably that'll probably be something that I chop it up on next Monday because I don't I haven't gotten say into the article. I'm just hearing about it, so I don't want to really comment on something that I don't have all of the necessary info on. Um, you know, uh, just saying, just saying. I'm beginning to understand that it is a good read. Interesting read, hard hitting read. So hey, we're going to we'll get into it. What I'm saying, on Mad Monday. Um, and let's see. I said I had a this week's who need the STFU. Um, Cam is batting 1,000 at this particular point. Um, Cam really need to go somewhere and sit down and shut the entire fuck up. On a whole lot of levels, on a couple of things. Um, but my particular reasoning on it is, what I'm saying, the stab, the shot, the shade that he was throwing at my quarterback. And I'm just, standing on business on that. You know. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know how I feel. Y'all know, what I'm saying? You saw the show, and it's a well known fact of how I feel about um that particular little factoid. You know what I'm saying? You know, but it is what it is. You know, it is, it is, it is, it is. Now, I guess we'll scoot on, with the root on and jump into kind of sort of the meat and potatoes today. Just, something I wanted to, talk about, debate about, dialogue about, you know what I'm saying? And it's just thought maybe it'd be an interesting, what I'm saying, topic. You know, quarterbacks go, what I'm saying, Cowboys GOAT quarterback conversation. Roger Staubach, Troy Aikman. Now, me being who I am, y'all know who I probably, what I'm saying, leaning on in this particular conversation. I mean, we're talking about two, both of them got chips, what I'm saying. Staubach got two, Aikman got three. Um, I, a lot of people are going to, well, Aikman got three, that's more than Staubach, blah, 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 But here's where I'm coming from with it. You know, Roger Staubach, you know, he was a different athlete in the 70s. Um, and for those of you who probably weren't old enough, you know what I'm saying, to see Roger Staubach, okay, if you saw Aaron Rodgers play, you done seen Roger Staubach. I put it to you like that. Okay. Um, that's about the closest of a comparison that I could bring that, that in modern day that, that people can, say, all right, I get the template. Yeah. You know, Aaron's athletic ability to be able to throw any pass and mobile, had some speed, could get out, could extend plays, big arm. Yeah, Roger Staubach is just who I described. Um, he was a different athlete. You know what I'm saying? Um, coming out of he was I think it was in the Air Force. Was he? Yeah. Um, he could get out. Roger Staubach could get out. You know. You know. He and Fran Tarkenton, they were different. They were different. You know. And there are gonna be some cowboy heavyweights that are gonna be a little beside themselves, because that is where I feel, Staubach's two chips outweigh Aikman's three. Um, and I just, you know, because Roger Staubach, he faced the Steel Curtain, the Raiders Black Hole, Redskins, the Giants defense through the 70s, what I'm saying, late 70s, going into the 80s, what I'm saying. I Aikman, Aikman, he didn't face any defense that was on. Well, 49ers, Packers, Eagles D, but it wasn't on the level of a Steel Curtain. You know what I'm saying? Um, don't get me wrong. This is a bona fide, what I'm saying, debate. Um, I guess I could steal a phrase from Mad Mike to say that there's no wrong answer in this conversation. You know, about whatever. I'm sorry. That's not true at all. Um, he, it, let me put some names out there for you for Roger Staubach's team, since you want to talk about how many Hall of Famers that played with Troy Aikman. Okay. You want to call some of the guys? You want to call the guys that Roger Staubach played with insurance salesmen? Huh. Okay. Let's see. You had before Dorsett. Okay. um, you had a Hall of Fame backfield of one Dan Reeves and Calvin Hill, Grant Hill's daddy. Okay. I don't think either one of them sold insurance. Um, you had guys like Bob Lilly, you had Randy White, Harvey Martin, Ed Too Tall Jones, Epperson Walls, to name a few. I don't think any of those were insurance salesmen. I mean, see, this is when little kids, get run out and be at the family barbecue and interject themselves into a conversation at the card table, and it's a bunch of adults. See, that's what that statement feels like. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the call the some of the Hall of Famers that Staubach played with insurance salesmen. Seriously, are you actually hit send on that? You said that out loud. Oh, okay. All right. All right. Yeah, like, Drew Hill, Tony Hill, um, you know what I'm saying? Probably, what I'm saying, Newsom, at fullback. Um, he had a couple of Hall of Fame offensive linemen. Um, you know, but I mean, to say that the Hall of Famers that Staubach played with were a bunch of insurance salesmen. Okay. All right. All right. All right. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I just told, and every one of them that I named, what I'm saying? White, Martin, what I'm saying? Ed Too Tall Jones, Hall of Famers. Bob Liddy, Hall of Famers. Calvin Hill, Dan Reed, God rest his soul, Hall of Famers. Tony Dorsett, Hall of Famer. Tony Hill, Drew Hill, both Hall of Famers. There were some other guys off the offensive line in that 12 years that he played that went to the Hall of Fame as well. I have to get that piece of information. Mad Mike, if you are listening, if anyone of y'all listening, can somebody send me that information, please? So I can, enlighten this young man on these so-called quote unquote insurance salesmen that were actually Hall of Famers that played in the 70s with one Roger Staubach at quarterback. You know, yeah, it's amazing how people like to throw away history, when they don't know it. You know what I'm saying? To say, wow, you actually said that out loud. Okay. Um, you know, but again, my standpoint of the conversation, you know, that Roger Staubach played against defenses of this caliber, the steel curtain, what I'm saying? Raiders black hole defense, what I'm saying? The Eagles, some of those, some of those Chiefs defenses, the Dolphins, um, what I'm saying? Some he faced the tail end of some of those Packers dynasty defenses, what I'm saying, early in the 70s, you know. Um, but to not acknowledge the guys that played with him on that team and to call them insurance salesmen only because you don't know none of their names, or you wasn't old enough, what I'm saying, to actually see, some of those great teams that were there. And yes, he has two chips. Okay. You know, I'm not downplaying Troy Aikman's career. I'm just giving you my affirmation is why I think this Starback was a better quarterback. Um, he was a more athletic quarterback, in my opinion, as well. Um, he was a more agile quarterback. He could get out the pocket. Um, he could make all the throws. You know what I'm saying? You know, he could get out the pocket. He could get upfield. You know what I'm saying? Give you, 10, 15, yards here and there. You know what I'm saying? He was one of the better passers on the run to play this game. You know, um, and in playing against some of the defenses that he played against. you know, and to play it at a extremely high level, um, at a time when the steel curtain was dominated, at a time when the Raiders were dominating, you know what I'm saying? At a time, when you had the Eagles emerging, the Redskins were doing some of those, you know what I'm saying, early, Giants teams, you know. I mean, hey man, you can't knock. And like I said, to you said name some of the, I named them, and then you're a good litany of Hall of Famers from Bob Lilly, you know what I'm saying, to Weissel Martin, to Newsel at fullback, you know what I'm saying. You had Dan Reeves and Calvin Hill in the back in that backfield at one point, for about 6, 7 years before they got Dorsett. You had Dorsett. I think he won his second Super Bowl when they got Dorsett. You know, and again, you had the Randy Whites, the Harvey Martins, the Ed Too Tall Joneses, you know what I'm saying, of the world on that defense. You know what I'm saying, when they made their runs. The Everson Walls. Um, Man, there were no insurance salesmen on that team, young man. You know, contrary to popular belief. Okay, and even with that, sir, I'm still saying that Roger Staubach was a better quarterback. You know, um, on athletic ability, and I think considering who he played against, and you're out here counting. I mean, so you think that because there may have been more Hall of Fame teammates with Troy Aikman, that makes him better? I think it's a total motherfucking indictment, if you ask me. I mean, and he had a boatload of them. So how come he only won 3? I mean, you know what I'm saying, the way you kept informed. Okay, let's get into that. Okay, since I bet Troy Aikman had more Hall of Fame teammates. Okay, and he probably did. So explain why he don't have more than 3 chips then. Hmm? Why did they lose in '94 to San Francisco? Hmm? Why couldn't they beat Green Bay in '96? Okay, we got all these Hall of Fame teammates. This is what you turn it in. You want to turn it into? You know what I'm saying? Because it sounds to me like you're trying to say because the amount of Hall of Fame teammates that he had that makes him a better quarterback than Roger Staubach. That's what it sounds like to me. That's what that sounds like to me. Mm. So, so because he's not in there for his playing career, that changes um, what he was on the field as a running back in the '70s. Because Dan Reeves was one of the better fullbacks to play this game. You know, as Calvin, you know what I'm saying, as his teammates. You know, I'm just saying. I mean, again, you're not answering the question. You're stating what you're saying. You're saying, because you're probably right about the amount of Hall of Fame teammates that each had. Troy probably had more, but does that make him a better quarterback than Roger Staubach? I'm asking you because that's what it sounds like you're trying to say. You're trying to say because the amount of Hall of Fame teammates that he had that made him a better player, a better quarterback than Roger Staubach? Because that's what you're saying. You're absolutely wrong. You're absolutely wrong. Excuse me, work related activities. Mm, okay. I hear your cousin played quarterback for for in the 70s. Give us a name. Anthony Wright said, I've always said Aikman was overrated, in my opinion. How do you have less than 30,000 yards passing and be a Hall of Famer? He has Hall of Famers all around him. Yes. Yeah. Maurice Martin. The Steelers dominated back in the 70s more than Dallas did. Pittsburgh had the steel curtain defense. That is my that, you know that I said that. I mean, that's who he played against. As far as having the rivals. The Cowboys and the Steelers were rivals back in the 70s. They faced each other in multiple Super Bowls. Okay, yes, and the Steelers got the better in most of. This is what I'm basing my affirmation on, of based on the landscape of the NFL and the dominant defenses that you know, that he played against. And to still have what I'm saying, the amount of success, what I'm saying, and winning two chips and and having, great, statistics at that particular time as a quarterback, and we're trying, like to say, styles make fights, fights make styles. Well, for me, with Staubach, like I said, he was agile, he was mobile, he could get outside the pocket. Like I said, for those that were not old enough to see him back in the day, if you saw Aaron Rodgers play, then you've seen Roger Staubach. You know, um, you know what I'm saying? But let me see. And with Terry Bradshaw being the quarterback, he won a lot of rings too. Um, okay. Well, Maurice, right there. Come on now. We know why the Steelers won those rings, and we're not gonna say that Terry was instrumental in those four chips. We're not gonna say that. We're not gonna say that. Okay, but he was on that team. You know, he was on that team for all four of them. I'm just saying that historical steel curtain defense. Okay, I'm just putting that out there, which is true. Oh, so you're saying the one more chip because he has one more. You know what I'm saying? That makes him a better quarterback um than Starback. Uh, is that right? Is that right? Okay. Well, I mean, if that's the case, I guess. Hmm. Well, let's see here. Let's see here. Okay. We'll put it to you like this. Ask this question this way then. Troy Aikman a better quarterback than Brett Favre? Hmm. Is he a better quarterback than Brett Favre? I'm just saying. Is Troy Aikman a better quarterback than Joe Theismann? Hmm. Is he a uh, is he a better quarterback than Jake the Snake used to play for the Raiders back in the day that won the chip? Um, is he a better quarterback um than Greasy and his one undefeated season? Hmm? I mean, yeah, you from the Michael Jordan era, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, every only thing that matters is the six with some bullshit in itself. I mean, um, when to say that his because he got one more chip than Terry, I mean than Roger Staubach, that makes him better. All right, all right. Alrighty then. Alrighty then. You know, but this is how I feel about that little factoid. This is how I feel about that little factoid. I mean, you know, you're saying it's all about you saying it's about the chip and the chip only. Okay. That's what you're making it about. And then between the chips and the fact that he got more Hall of Fame teammates, that's what you're saying makes him a better quarterback than Roger Staubach. Okay. All righty then. Okay, man. Okay. Corey, what's happening? Boy, look now. Don't you come in here making sense. Don't you come in here making sense. Don't you come in here making sense now. You know what I'm saying? Because I go one better for you. That's like saying Eli is better than Peyton. Yeah. Uh-huh. uh, let's see. The same way you determine who is richer, if you got 100 G's in your account and you got 30, no, it's not the same. Counting money is not the same as determining who is better in the sport. Mm. Yeah, I can see right now somebody spiked your oatmeal this morning. What are we arguing here? You play for chips after you get that first millie. Well, after so what you're saying is you come into league playing for money. Your money is your motivation. And then, once you get your money, then you start playing for championships. Oh my goodness. Oh Lord. Somebody get this man an anecdote for whatever it is they spiked his oatmeal with this morning. You know. Mucho, what are you talking about? Bettis, Palomalu, Ward, he can even argue being like the top 5 Pittsburgh players. Are you trying to say that who you're saying right there, the top 5 Pittsburgh players of all time? If so, Mucho, yeah, we got a big problem. That's not even. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. Yeah, yeah. The only one of them that you could probably put up in there in that conversation would be Palomado. To be talking to, bruh, you trying to put anybody over, and one of them Hall of Famers on their defense. L.C. Greenwood, Mean Joe Green, Jack Ham, Lambert, Hayes. Stop playing. Stop playing, man. Franco, Rocky Blah, stop playing. Lynn Swan, stop playing, man. Stop playing. But we're talking about Roger Staubach and Troy Aikman right now. Okay. let's see. By that logic, Brad Johnson better than Marino because Marino didn't have as many Hall of Famers around him and never won the chip. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Maurice is Matt Ryan doesn't have any rings, but I think he will still get in the Hall of Fame. Of course. Of course he's gonna get in. He's the first or second ballot. I mean, he's right up there with, Jim Kelly, Dan Fouts, Marino, you know what I'm saying, and them guys. Yeah. Yeah, wait, yeah, he's right up there. He's right up there. Um I didn't ignore your answer. I hadn't seen your answer, my guy. Oh yeah. Vince Evans. That's your folks? Okay. Like I said, I didn't see your answer. I would have acknowledged it. Sonya, just because he has a lot of Hall of Fame players doesn't mean he was a better quarterback. Facts, baby, facts, facts. I mean, no one ever said Ted Bradshaw was a world beater at quarterback. I mean, that was honestly, I mean, that was a 10 to 15, almost 20-year feud between Hollywood Henderson and Terry Bradshaw because Hollywood Henderson called him a dummy on the football field. And I asked him a question for many years, where was the lie? I mean, come on now. Uh, you know, um, that's ask me a serious question, Corey. Ask me a serious question. Now, that's a whole nother show, Corey. That's a whole nother show. That's a whole nother show because that's a we're talking about Jim Kelly. We're talking about Dan Marino. We're talking about Dan Fouts. Um, Let me see with Matt. Um, Let me see Bobby Abear. Um, but those would be the top five right off my head. But the big three: Matt, Jim Kelly, Marine was big four. Dan Fouts. Saying Dan Marino, Jim Kelly, Matt Ryan. That's a whole nother debate right there, my guy. You know what I'm saying? Xavier Littman. How's it going? Appreciate you for joining. Staubach had to serve out his military obligation before he could even play. Was that Danny White he had to wait behind? And Aikman had way more help around him. We could literally name five players. Um, Danny White was the punter. Um, I can't remember the guy that actually was playing quarterback while Starback was doing his military, thing when he came in, um, and did it. And yeah, and Danny was a punter and backup quarterback. Without Google, he played with Aikman. Um, we could literally name five players without Google that played with. Yeah, yeah. Well, like I said about whatever, that's a whole nother show. That's a whole nother topic. I mean, yeah, Marino is strongly in there, but I think that Jim Kelly is right there. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, the Dan Fouts, Dan Marino, Jim Kelly, Matt. I mean, come on now, Jim Kelly went to four of them things, man. K Gun. You know what I'm saying? That spread offense. Okay. Like I said, that is a bonus. You know what? That might be a topic of conversation for next week, for the next episode of the T. You know what I'm saying? You know, um, yeah, I got what you're saying, Xavier. I got what you're saying. Well, I'm gonna fill you in, Jay. We're actually having a Cowboys quarterback GOAT debate with Roger Staubach, Troy Aikman. That's the topic. Um, about whatever in here seems, has made his mandate that because, Troy, which I probably believe he's correct on that assertion of him having more Hall of Fame players around him. He seemed to think that because of that fact, and that he has one more chip than Staubach, that makes him automatically a better quarterback than Roger Staubach. Me, I don't think so. I'm of the mind that Roger Staubach, in all things considering and discerning, in the time that he played and the defenses that he played against in that era, um, you know, to me, you know what I'm saying, solidified his stake as the better all-time quarterback in Dallas's history. Um, but then too, also with this, like I said, there's really no wrong answer in this debate. I just thought it would be an interesting conversation. You know what I'm saying? Um, the Kurt Warner and he only won one. Hey, look, bruh. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look, and oh, by the way, Jay Diaz, about whatever. Let me ascertain this. Let me throw this other statement out here that he made about said players that were around Roger Staubach. In his assertion to campaign for Troy Aikman, he said the guys that Roger Staubach played with were insurance salesmen. You know, the Dan Reeves, Kevin Hill, Tony Hill, Drew Hills, Lily, Bob Lillies, Danny and Randy White, Harvey Martin, Ed Too Tall Jones, Jefferson Walls, Tony Dorsett, yeah, all those guys were insurance salesmen. Let by whatever tell it. I'm just, filling you in as to, what has been said and in the debate and the dialogue, of this here particular conversation. You know, you know, um, but hey, and Xavier, like I said, Xavier, you're dead right. I mean, you could name five players that played with Troy Aikman without having, having to go, Google. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of, but just because you have an assorted amount of Hall of Fame players around you, does that make you better than someone that did it before you, who I think it did it, better? I think he was a better. I think Roger Staubach was a better athlete than Troy Aikman. I mean, we could compare Ricky seasons. Um, we could compare Troy's three championship seasons to Rogers' two championship seasons. Um, I would even be willing to say, okay, let's throw in the Super Bowls that he lost as well. I mean, because he had phenomenal years, he just ran into that damn steel curtain. You know, I'm just saying it is I mean, it's crazy to me. It's funny, you know. Boy, hey, Xavier, that doggone Xavier is spending some fire. He spent some fire today, y'all. That right there sounds better when you say it, but I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read it again. And thanks to the NFL changing the salary cap rules in the '90s, there was no steel curtain defense for Aikman to go against. Yeah, and yeah, with free agency. Yep, yeah, yeah, and see, yeah, and he did, and and about whatever is saying because of that fact, that what makes him better than Roger Staubach, and he called the guy that Roger Staubach played with that played around him insurance salesman. Yeah, yeah, I just wanted, I'm gonna keep saying that. Bobby Boys on three, good was good, was good, was good, was good. I'm doing pretty good. Life has been life, and man, you know what I'm saying. You know, um, just on a programming note, yeah, it was a lot going on yesterday. Me and Truth gonna get back at y'all. You know what I'm saying? There gonna be some changes coming. You know what I'm saying, with the show. The show time is going to change. But we're gonna fill you guys in on it as well. And once we get everything straightened out, but the show it's we're not taking it off the air. It's just life was life, and yesterday had a lot going on. But it show will be back next Tuesday. All right. Now, um, again, my point about Roger Staubach, I think he was a different kind of athlete at quarterback. Um, in that day and time, he and Fran Tarkenton kind of sort of, changed life at quarterback with their athletic and ability and agility. Um, you know, I mean, who y'all think started and developed the jump pass? It was Roger Staubach. It was Roger Staubach. Yeah. hmm think I think it was 79. I think Roger walked away from the game at 80, I believe. In 80. Now because that 49ers defense didn't get going and strong until like 84, strong like that. I mean, it was pretty much the offense that was doing what it was doing. You know what I'm saying? With Montana and them. You know what I'm saying, in the '80s, 82, 83, 84. You know, um, you know what I'm saying. He mostly faced the Redskins. They had a good D. You know what I'm saying, saving his, going into the '80s. The Steel Curtain. Um, Chiefs, the Eagles had a defense. Packers, what I'm saying, had a defense back then. Um, he faced some starting with most notably the Steel Curtains, Raiders Black Hole defense, Chiefs D, Giants, just he faced some formidable defenses in his time. He did, and I I look at that as a badge of honor, you know what I'm saying, to be successful during that time against in that time, you know what I'm saying, against those defenses. A lot of them did work full time jobs because of what they got paid. QBs weren't making 40, 50 million a year. They played for the love of the game and took pride in being a part of something bigger. This is true. This is true. This is true. Um, but that Cowboys team, um, uh, Hank Stram, you know, they weren't broke. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't, you know, say that they were out there. You know what I'm saying? Just, you know, panhandling. You know what? You know what I'm saying? Southside was good. You know, uh, Chanel Key, yeah, yeah, yeah. Montana did. Yeah, he did. He did. He did. Sonya, the defenses that played in the '70s, Steel Curtain, Black Holes Raiders D, the Eagles had a defense, Redskins had a defense, the Dolphins had a permanent defense. Remember, they went undefeated in '72. The Chiefs had a defense. Packers, you know what I'm saying, had a defense. Um, Giants, um, Jets. Yeah, there were some formidable defenses in the '70s. Yeah, and yeah, they were signing. They were, you know what I'm saying, historical. You know what I'm saying. In Troy Aikman's come up and his run. I mean, what's I mean, you know, they had their rival with the 49ers, you know what I'm saying, the Packers. Um, I mean, outside of that, yeah, I mean, you had the Eagles defense when Reggie was in, you know what I'm saying, in Philly with him and Jerome Brown and Clyde Simmons and them guys. Um, like I said, the 49ers, um, Reggie White capped off free agency, you know what I'm saying, his move to Green Bay and made that a top flight defense. Um, uh, shoot, no, that you really can't name a a defense that would stand out to say, okay, this is who, you know what I'm saying, Aikman ran over to get his chip. No, you know what I'm saying, and no knock on Buffalo because Buffalo had a great defense. They got the four straight Super Bowls, but at the same time, in comparison to the Steel Curtain, nah, nah. Who gave the Cowboys the most trouble? Was it the Packers during the stuff? It was it was the Steelers. They faced off each other, you know what I'm saying, multiple times. I would say the Redskins and the Giants, you know what I'm saying, had formidable defenses then. I'm really trying to think in the NFC around that time. The Rams as well, young blood brothers, you know, had a bona fide defense that he faced off, you know, multiple occasions. Um, Vince Ferragamo at quarterback. Um, he went through. He dealt with some good ones. Um, Xavier said Vikings and Raiders and Steelers. Yeah, yeah, Vikings, Raiders, Steelers, the Eagles, um, Giants, Redskins. That was some formidable defenses in the 70s, especially on the AFC side of things. It was for me, but he went head to head with those Steelers a number of occasions. You know what I'm saying? For all the love. Yeah, that would Staubach faced off. And look, my reasoning and my reasoning for saying for picking Staubach, like I said, from an athletic standpoint, he was better. He was one of the first really, saying athletic mobile quarterbacks. He and Frank Tarkenton back in the day. Um, you know, like I said, if you watch Aaron Rodgers, carbon copy. He's a carbon copy of what Staubach was back in the 70s. Carbon copy. Carbon copy. Athletic, could get around, big arm, could put it out there, could throw on the run, you know what I mean? Could get out of trouble, had some wheels. I mean, people don't understand that when Dan Reeves and Calvin Hill was back there in that backfield, was the running backs, with the halfback and the fullback back there, it was hard to stop Dallas because you had to worry about Staubach, tucking it and peeling off 25, 30 yards too. You know, um, Sonny wants to know how many great defenses was out there in the 90s. Oh, all right, like the Bills, obviously. Um, the Giants was on the tail end of theirs. Um, you had the 49ers. You had Reggie White going from the Philadelphia defense to the Packers defense and made them a Super Bowl contending defense. Um, okay. Let's see. Let me see. The Steelers at 95 Steelers defense was formidable. Um, so you had our defense. You had Broncos, Jacksonville, that 96, 97, 98 D. Um, it was a couple. It was a couple. Did we have a good defense during that time frame? Are we talking about in the 90s? Yeah, we did. I mean, that 91 Falcons defense is a historically talked about defense. Um, Too legit to quit. Um, yeah, we 90 96 90. Let me see, 96, 97, 98. We had a pretty good defense, and 98 culminated in us going to the Super Bowl. Um, so yeah, let's see. I hate to say it, but the Saints, but yeah, Pat Swilling and them boys was yeah. You're right. I was spitballing there. I didn't mean to lead them not. If I'm not mistaken, says Southside, Aaron said once that's who he modeled his game behind Roger Staubach. Yes, he did. Yeah, yes, he did. Uh-huh. During his pro day when he's at California. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Now, you want to know in the 70s? Yeah. Because remember, we was the other day, and I was reminded, what I'm saying, Jerry Glanville, who was the defensive backs coach, what I'm saying, 60s going to the 70s. Um, he developed the 46 defense, It was a formidable defense for a few years. Um, you know, don't get me wrong. There were some lean times in the '70s, but that was more so because we had piss poor ownership. You know, um, there were some coaches that got fired. When they got fired, there was really no need to fire them if you would have to, use the money and gave the brought in the tools and and things of that nature. There were a few years, um, late '70s, early '80s that we could have and should have been something. You know, that the that ownership was horrible. You know what I'm saying? Ownership it was just horrible. Um, we had a decent defense in the '90s, but our defense was top tier in the '70s. Grit split days. Yes, yes, yeah, yeah. Like I said, Jerry Glanville designed what would later be known as the 46 defense made famous. It wasn't that they discovered it because Jerry Glanville, as the defensive backs coach with us in 66, 67, 68, had Grits Blitz as was the best defense in the NFL at that time. You go look up the numbers. And very same set defense picked up by Buddy Curry was made famous, what I'm saying, in '85, that the 46 defense. But if you do your homework and research, that the origin of the 46 was by Jerry Glanville and Atlanta Falcons in 1966, 67, 68. Could that grit split defense work in today's game in NFL? Yes. Yes. Any defensive coach that you see using the 46 defense, yeah, it does. I mean, you personnel wise, you really have to be committed to it. It would work. It would and could work. Hmm. Bears, Ravens. Corey says, Ronnie Lott or Jack Tatum, who you choosing? now you talking about two different type of crazes. Um, right there, Corey. You talking about two different type of crazes. But but just to answer your question, Corey, I would take Ronnie Lott just on the premise that I saw a whole lot more of Ronnie Lott, and I know more about Ronnie Lott than Jack Tatum. About whatever says Maurice, hell yeah, we should run it now. We actually have the personnel right now to run it and the 155 nickel base. I can agree with that assessment. I can agree with that. You know, but yeah, in this little particular debate, what I'm saying is when in talking about Staubach and and uh and Troy Aikman, Staubach, he was a different athlete in the '70s. Um, facing off with the likes of the Steel Curtain and the Raiders Black Hole defense, back then, and shoot, you just you after go Google Roger Staubach. This is what I can tell some of y'all young folks to do. Just Google them and look at the film and You know what I'm saying? And look at who he played against and look at how he played the game. You know what I'm saying? And you understand where I am on this. I give um in my assertion of this, I'm giving Staubach the edge in this GOAT debate, the Cowboy quarterback GOAT debate. But that's just me. You know, you know what I'm saying with that. Hey, you mess around, and then you gave me some some topics for next week's show. And just coming up this conversation with you guys, which I extremely appreciate. About whatever it says, the 3-4 fits, but it seems like we gotta force it, whereas we wouldn't have to force 155 or 46 right now. I don't think we're gonna have to force it. I mean, we have the necessary linebackers for the 3-4. Um, I think that once Raheem and Terry and Lake and them, you know, get, what I'm saying, hit their targets, what I'm saying, with the necessary pieces to fill in, I think, everything's gonna be everything. You know, that's just where I'm going to edit. And right there, right there, right there. 18 eyes on the program. Hey, 18 people that's watching, man, hit that like button. You know what I'm saying? If you enjoyed this particular topic and conversation on today, you know what I'm saying? You know, don't just like it, share it. Um, Subscribe to the channel. You know what I'm saying? OGN TV with your boy OG Big Sam, historian showstopper. You know what I mean? As you can see on the ticket tape, y'all, see where you can get at me across my platform. Um, you know, trying to get it bigger and better. You know what I'm saying? Trying to make it, not just exclusive. We're trying to, be covering all sports. You know what I'm saying? Give you a appetizer. You know what I'm saying? To all your sports meals and things and things and things. You know. Um, let's see. Maurice said, "Do you think these guys could play in today's NFL, or do you think this era of football is too soft for them to appreciate and want to play?" Now, um, um, Maurice, I'm going to. I need to get some specifics on that question before I answer it. Um, about whatever. Um, no, the rings don't prove that he's better than Staubach. No, it don't, bro. It don't, because I promise you, right, my guy. I promise you, you put Roger Staubach on that team that he won those three, and and Roger would probably triple the amount of rings that he had. Like I said, Roger won him 2 chips. You know what I'm saying? But you put Roger Staubach on that team behind that line, and I promise you, Roger Staubach would rewrite the record books. I promise you, his quarterback stats, his quarterback numbers would dwarf what Troy Aikman looks like in the stat book. I'm just saying, yeah, Staubach was that guy. But Aikman having 3 chips does not mean that he's a better quarterback than Roger Staubach. I'm sorry, no and no and no and hell no. No, because if Troy Aikman was just that damn good and on that team behind that Hall of Fame line for 10 years, how come he didn't got 10 rings? I mean, but hey, um, Oh, okay. Now, Maurice. Okay, you asked me if Roger. Yes, Roger Staubach's athleticism alone, you know, and his ability to extend plays and what I'm saying and to throw on the run, and he could throw any route on the route tree. He could throw any pass. You know what I'm saying? Yes, Roger could play in this game in today's game easy. Easy. And Troy could too. Who would be better? Even now, I would say I would say, Roger, the captain, would be better. You know, Xavier says, OG Big Sam, being that you're a defensive minded person, please can you make a video on your opinions on building the perfect defense in today's NFL? Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Most definitely. I got you covered on that. Why do the say Brady is the GOAT over Young? Young got what, five? Brady got six. It's cause he got more rings than Young. What Young are you talking about? You talking about Steve Young? Uh, when about whatever. You talking about Steve Young? I mean, now because I've maintained in this GOAT conversation at quarterback that Joe Montana is my GOAT. Joe is my GOAT. Um, I mean, you know, look in this thing. Okay, um, well, and I'm gonna use a lot of the logic that a lot of people like to use in these quarterback versus quarterback debates, especially on the GOAT level. Um, Tom lost twice to Eli, and he lost to Nick Foles, and he blew an undefeated season. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Joe Montana, 4-0, for clean. Yeah. Uh huh. It period point blank. Steve Young. See, here's where being young because it's right. Steve got three. Steve Young got three. He sat behind Joe for two of them. He sat behind Joe. He sat behind Joe Montana on two of the three that he got. Okay. Um, where does Steve Young rank in all that conversation? Eh, top 15 maybe. But no. Joe is not that conversation right there. That I think you're missing. It's it's Joe Montana, bro. It's Joe Montana all day, all day, all day. Brady blew an undefeated season. You lose to Eli twice, and you lose to Nick Foles. Okay, Rush. Okay, all right. D Sloan, what's good? What's good? Say hi to the missus and all. Um, um, about whatever. Steve Young, um, started in one Super Bowl, and yeah, they won it. That was the '94 Super Bowl with Dion on that team, with prime time on that team. The other two chips that that Steve Young has, he got it sitting behind Joe Montana. See, he got two rings sitting behind Joe Montana. The one and only Super Bowl that he actually started and played in, yes, he won. Okay. Um, that don't to me only put him in that conversation. Um, Joe Montana is the one that's undefeated, and you know what I'm saying? Him 4-0. Him 4-0. Yeah, him 4-0. Yeah, yeah, that right there. I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? Had had McVay ran the damn ball, a familiar theme. Yeah, the Rams win that. They could have easily won that Super Bowl. But also PG hate to admit this. Brady is the only quarterback to join a team in the first season with that team win the Super Bowl with the team he's in his home state. People will take that into account. I mean, that Bucks team was a ready-made team, bro. The only money they spent was on Grunt. I mean, you probably could have dropped any number of quarterbacks in there into that team, and they done the same thing. I mean, but like I said, okay, he got his six, but those losses to Eli and Nick Foles and blowing the undefeated season. I'm sorry, like no, just not. Yeah, a lot of folks do. Um, you know, and I'm not one of those folks that is. I mean, a lot of people. Well, you can't dismiss his history. No, I'm not dismissing it. I'm just, I'm not gonna put him where I don't where everybody thinks he belongs. I'm again. He, if he makes history, he wins that Super Bowl in undefeated season, then we're having a different conversation. But you blow undefeated season, you know what I'm saying? You lose to Philly, and Nick Foles, you know what I'm saying? And then the litany of baggage that comes, you know what I'm saying, with a lot of, said things in said rings. So, hey, it is what it is right now, you know. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And did he also, what I'm saying, took him to the scrapyard. I mean, but hey, that's neither here nor there. Look, we gonna call it a day on this one. You know what I'm saying? Great dialogue, you know what I'm saying, for this content, you know what I'm saying? Hey, like I say, I appreciate you all, you know what I'm saying, for joining me each and every time I, get the chance to, show you all appreciation. Um, you know, it just it's a good thing. It's a great thing, and I love it. I love all you all. You know what I'm saying, for tuning in. You know, and getting involved in these conversations and showing your knowledge and you know what I'm saying, just having a good conversation, man. You know, you know, when you go, hey, like I said, from my standpoint on the topic, I'm leaning with the captain, Roger Staubach, as the greater, Cowboy GOAT. That's just me. Hey, you know, everybody, there's really no wrong answer in this. You know what I'm saying? But everybody has their picks and their reasons, and you know what I'm saying, and their info and whatnot. Hey, this could go on and 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 on. You know, shoot. Hey man, look, it's hump day. Just get over the week. You know what I'm saying? Make your next choice your best choice. You know what I mean? You got to keep it real. You got to keep it A. You got to keep it dirty. You know what I'm saying? But most importantly, you have to keep it real with yourself. This is your boy OG Big Sam for this episode of Wicked Wednesday Sports Tea. I hope this tea was good to you. And I'm out, y'all.